Hello, thank you for tuning into this week's section of reads. You should be seeing this on the YouTube channel James 13 Wicca, in case you're seeing it somewhere else. Also, the dice and the cards I'm using, they're going to be listed below. Other than that, let's go ahead and move ahead. If you would like a reading from me, of course, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for tuning in, and let's go ahead and get into yours. Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Scorpio? This is going to be interesting. You've got the Sun card, and right after it, the Ten of Swords. And then you got the Devil card, and right after it, the Ace of Cups. So, this is going to be one of those. So, is it just like the realization about what's going on here? This is at the bottom of the deck for the Oracle cards. Have no fear. Whatever this is, it feels like it's more about you coming into who you are with the situation, how you really feel about the situation. There might be something here where there's a social expectation that might need to be deconstructed. Maybe there's something here that you're a part of because the social connection here. Maybe that's what you've been led to believe, that this is something you're supposed to be a part of or need to be responsible for, and maybe that's not the case. It's coming more to your center about, wait a minute, does this make sense? Should I be a part of this or should I not? Excuse me. You've put a lot of effort into this. You've been a part of this situation for quite a time. Quite a notable amount of time. Like, a notable amount of time depends on what you see as a notable amount of time. For some of you, it could be a few weeks, just to be fair, depending on what it is. Most of you, it's going to be like a few years at the very least. Most of you. Could be even longer than that. And I feel like you've been very active with this situation, and you've been doing everything you can. Am I getting that right? I mean, it's not bad, but you've been trying to lift the energy in this situation. You've been doing a lot to try to lift the energy in this situation, probably because it's kind of like when it starts on a downward spiral, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So you fight to keep it going in the better direction. I do feel like you actively try to keep it going in the better direction. Which I don't think that's just you keeping your thoughts to yourself, because sometimes you have some thoughts you're like, well, I probably shouldn't share that. But it's more about other people. I feel like it's other people causing issues and you kind of like nipping it in the bud, or kind of like bringing it down to a dealable level, keeping control of the situation so things don't get too out of hand. I feel like you've been very active with that. Take it with a grain of salt. It's a general read. You know how that goes. Excuse me. I do feel like, again, you've been doing this for it seems like it's been a few years, but it could be less, but it seems like at least a few years. And it might be one of those things where you're accepting it? Maybe not. What is this? These two together are kind of like, maybe every now and then you question that. Maybe that's a better way to put that. I don't know about accepting, more about questioning. And kind of like, you know, the sense of obligation. Like, if I stop picking up the pieces, if I stop doing my part in this situation, is it all just going to go to pot, as they say? Is it all just going to crash and burn if I stop putting in this effort to keep the situation afloat? For For some of you, this could be family. Others, it could be like a work situation. Could be a friend group. It seems like there's multiple people a part of this situation, though. I'm getting for some of you, it's also like a finance thing. So, whatever that means. Finances might be the subject we're dealing with. I keep questioning, like, should I be doing it this way? If I don't, is it all just going to fall apart? The devil is here, like I mentioned that in the beginning. It's a weird energy when it comes to Scorpio, because sometimes it talks about Capricorn energy, which you don't have to be dealing with a Capricorn, but it's something that has, it thrives as long as the boundaries are respected. It has no patience for people who cross boundaries. As long as you stay within these certain borders, everything can be okay. But if you cross outside of these borders, it's going to get nasty. It could be one of those energies. And you've been working well within these borders for quite a while, but you might also be questioning, like, should I be? But if I don't, what does it mean for this situation if I don't? And it's kind of like, I don't want the repercussions. There is a pushing back energy here also. Like, it's trying to keep control. It wants to keep control. It seems to be thriving by keeping control of the situation. You seem to be helping this situation. If it's a person, you're helping this person keep control of the situation, maybe not realizing it. You're helping them keep it where they want it, the way you're handling it. And they might be the one who's starting the problems, which is ironic, but they might be playing the situation at more angles than you're aware of. Okay, where else do we need to go with this? Because we're trying to go into this next level, which the Ace of Cups is trying to come forward, but how do you get there is a good question. Four of Cups reversed, the Empress, and then you got the Sun and the Ten of Swords. All of this happens at once. Four of Cups reversed, excuse me, is kind of seeing that, like, instead of, like, if you had Four of Cups upright, it's kind of like having three good things and one thing that's not quite fitting. But if it's reversed, it's kind of saying, like, there's only one thing there here that kind of works, and the rest of this isn't really good for me. I know it's trying to flip the page here, but I'm getting, like, you're doing what you think you have to do, even though it doesn't seem like it's really serving you. And it's, I think when the Ten of Swords starts coming in, it's like it's starting to fall apart. I think it is starting to fall apart. And it's kind of like, maybe it's time for it to fall apart. Maybe it's time to. It's not comfortable for anybody, but maybe if it does finally fall apart, then I don't have to put in all this work to try to make it work anymore. I can put my energy elsewhere. I can go in a different direction. For some reason, I keep getting this feeling of obligation. Like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. But if the situation is falling apart, it's kind of like, well, if it's falling apart, it's not going to matter soon. Excuse me. If it is falling apart, whatever it is, Ace of Cups is showing up in the sense of, like, it's almost like it's a good thing, but I feel bad about the way it's happening. It's kind of like somebody losing their house to a disaster, but then getting a better house after it, after everything comes back together. It's kind of like, I don't like how that happened. That was a horrible thing to happen, but they got something better after. So it's kind of like, there's good and bad with this situation, but it's kind of like also, it's kind of like they don't have to deal with the leaky pipes anymore because they got a whole new place. Whatever it is, you could get very enamored with the stress of it. That's a choice, is what I'm getting. Take it with a grain of salt. It's just coming across that way, that's a choice. You don't have to invest in the stress. If you're stressed by this situation, first of all, they're saying it doesn't help anything. It doesn't make anything better. You feeling bad about it does not make it better for you or anybody else. I want to go to the next level, but they're like waiting for some reason. Like they're trying to make a point. Just feeling bad does not improve it for you or anybody else. So you don't need to do that. Embracing the change and moving forward with the change, that does improve the situation. Seeing it, accepting it for what it is, and then stepping forward and doing what you need to do next, even if it's ahead of schedule. Even if it's ahead of schedule. So like if you're feeling bad about the situation a little bit, but it's not helping you, and it's not helping the situation to feel bad about it. In your case, in this situation, it's a general read, so take it with a mountain worth of salt. They're saying you physically moving and doing things to change your energy, you're still going to have to work through the situation on your own terms, but to keep that energy from stagnating and being heavy, keeping it moving, you're still going to go through the process, whatever your process is, but it'll develop it differently. It'll keep it moving. It doesn't have to lay there as painful. It doesn't have to lay there as long. It's still subjective how long this situation's going to last, but I keep getting that like hunkering down with the stress is just making it worse. Doing what you feel you can do to keep the energy moving and trying to accept it on your terms, whatever you're ready for, does seem to churn the energy a little bit. This seems very weird to me because it does remind me of the grieving process, which can be a weird thing, which I know there's a lot of different versions of how that works, but it can be a catch-22. Kind of like you have to do it on your own terms, right? But sometimes you can have behaviors that do make it worse for you. So that it's kind of like, how do you know if you're doing that or not? And then if they're saying if this is hitting, just making choices and moving forward in a direction you can move forward. So like they're showing me this other situation where this person had their spouse passed away, which was horrible. And I'm getting the analogy, it's not about them making peace with that or like divvying up all that person's belongings, but like the movement they had moving forward is like they kept buying themselves dinner, they kept making their own dinner, they kept visiting people, maybe not as long as they usually would, maybe not as often as they usually would, but they kept their energy moving and it kept it from stagnating too much. That was a decision they made. So at least that's as far as I know. I mean, I don't know anything else about it, but it's kind of like moving forward with what you can move forward with. And like they could make themselves dinner, they could go visit certain people that they could deal with. Again, I remember at that time they didn't see people as long as they normally would. They wouldn't hang out as long as they normally would, but they kept their energy moving. They kept that. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, don't do it. I feel like this is like really like one of those things where it's kind of like here and there at the same time. Because they're saying whatever's going on here, something good is going to come out of it. But holding too tightly to the sadness could make it worse. Trying to keep that energy moving or trying to keep your energy moving in whatever way you feel necessary could help break it up a little bit and keep it moving, and it won't last as long. There's still the process that you have to go through, but it's weird. I hope this is making sense because I'm not telling you have to do anything. It's just how the reading's coming forward as an option or as a possibility. So it's kind of like keeping that energy moving, keeping that energy alive a little bit. And it's weird because there's a couple things. They keep saying, like, put your energy into action. Like, actually keep it going. Keep your energy moving. And before you know it, more information will come forward to you. I still feel it may not come forward as you expect it. It's kind of like, I hate to use somebody passing away as an analogy, but it's the one I'm getting. So it's kind of like a lot of times when somebody passes away, a lot of us just were crushed for a couple months, and then we start building our way out of it, depending on the passing, whoever it was. I'm getting with this, it may work differently for you if it's something like that, where you keep your energy moving and you'll get to a spot where you're kind of okay for a while, and then it'll just kind of hit you like a ton of bricks, and then you'll pick yourself up and you'll keep going, and it's kind of like paying in installments. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm just giving it as it's coming through. So it may work out better for you in the long run. It's kind of like it's instead of it like knocking you out for a whole year where you can't stand or do anything, it may move it to like you're okay for the most part, and then every now and then you have a day or two where you're just going through it, and then you pick yourself up and you keep going, and then every now and then you have a day or so where you just, you're just going through it again. It may just happen in pieces here or there. I don't know. I keep getting that when the insights keep coming in, it's like there might be like as time goes forward, it's kind of like remembering the good things, and it's easier to remember the good things, and then processing it out as you need to. Might be one of those things. Is there anything I'm missing with this? I'm surprised. I mean, I know it's Scorpio. You guys have very deep emotions. That's your card. You're going to have some stress, and not everybody's going to be productive with that. Whatever the situation is, I got the Three of Cups reversed with this. And you might start moving on, or somebody might think you're moving on before you actually have. It might be just like you're having a good day and you're just fine, whatever this is. But it's you handling it on your terms. Other people might have their own expectations. Either it could be toxic positivity, or it just could be toxic, whatever it is. Where people want you to act the way they think you should act versus how you feel. I've known a lot of people in life, and I've done this myself, where on the outside it looks like everything's okay and kind of moved on from it, but on the inside it's just not there yet. It's just I'm having an okay moment, or they're having an okay moment, and they're just going with it. They're trying to see how far it'll last. And that's your business, how you're feeling and what you need to do to get through it. Other people, I get this weird feeling that other people are not going to understand it, or people closest to you in this situation may not really get it, and they may be bothered by the way you're handling it. All right, so what are we supposed to do? What is Scorpio supposed to do with that? Disconnect from them. I feel like that was a quick answer. Is there anything else? Seven of Cups and the Chariot, but a Chariot comes in like this. Let them think what they're going to think. Put some distance between you and them. It doesn't have to be permanent. It can be if that's what you want. Don't try to help them understand something that is not their business to understand. Well, that's what I'm getting. Go with it. Take it with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. You know how that goes. I keep getting that quite strongly. Like, don't make it your obligation to help them understand something that's not their business to understand. This period of time is weird because it's up and down. It feels kind of roller coastery, but they're saying this energy is passing. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you can go into the next situation, whatever it is. But they're also saying at the same time, you got to accept it on your terms, in your way. The advice here, the possibility here is to keep your energy moving in whatever way you see fit. You might be just cleaning your house. That may be the way that you see fit. You're staying away from people, you're dealing with things on your own terms, but you're just staying home and cleaning your house instead of going out and seeing people. If that's what keeps your energy moving, because I feel like when they're saying keep your energy moving, I feel like they're saying physically keep it moving. It'll help lift the situation quicker than you think. It reminds me of moving bricks. I don't know why we're going down this road other than there's a reason for it, I'm sure. It's like if you had 10,000 bricks that had to be moved from here to there. If you hunker down on the bricks too much, it seems like they multiply. If you do it this other way and you keep your energy moving, I feel like every now and then I'm moving like 100 bricks at a time. Sometimes I'm moving 2 or 3 bricks at a time. Once in a while, I seem to find something that helps me move a big load again, and it just keeps moving in pieces. And before I know it, it's done. But if I hunker down on it like this, if if I envelop too much in the stress of it, it seems like it multiplies. Hopefully that made sense. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.